Please take a look at this. On a weekly basis, we've formed a double top here, just like we did here, and just like we did in 2021 over there and there, here and here. Accordingly, it looks like, or at least some people are saying, that this might have been the double top here as well. Because, I mean, this movement we had here looks exactly like the movement we've just seen here. Double top, went down, look here, went up, corrected briefly again, and then built the top once more. We made exactly the same move here. Went up, brief correction, you can really see it in the chart, and then went up again. So this movement looks exactly like that one. Plus this double top, just like we saw it in 2021 during the bull run. And that's kind of the reason why some people are speculating that this might already have been our bull run top, and that we're now heading into a bear market. And to be honest, this scenario is definitely possible. Something like that can definitely happen, because I mean, it really does look very similar. But in my opinion, this is of course not the top yet, because there are so many indicators that are still far from suggesting that we are overbought here. Besides, a really massive Ethereum reserve is currently being built up in the background. The Bitcoin ETF inflows haven't really slowed down much at all, and these are things where you have to clearly say that the big institutional players are still active. Accordingly, I also don't think that we've already seen the top for now. However, it has to be said that since we've now formed another double top here, this could well lead to a broader correction for the time being, because in this cycle, as we know, we're climbing step by step like stairs. We had a double top here, another double top there, and now we've got another double top here. And every time after this double top, we've seen a longer term correction first. That means it could very well be the case again this time. And for that, you have to look at the 20 EMA on the weekly basis, for example, because if we really fall below the 20 EMA, which is currently around $108,000, if we drop below that level for a sustained period, the next support zone will be at $95,000. That means from here, we would very likely fall towards $95,000 if this level doesn't hold. Currently, however, this zone has held up very well, has acted as a support zone, and it looks like we could see a bit of an upward move from here. But we really need to keep a close eye on this. If we drop below $108,000, the next support zone is around $100, and then, as mentioned, at $95,000. And if that doesn't hold, we could drop further towards $70,000 or $80,000. So far though, this 50 EMA has always held up pretty well. We can see that here as well. But this exact scenario that we're seeing right now reminds me of 2021 because we dropped down here, tested the 50 EMA, and then climbed back up nicely. That's exactly what this reminds me of. Just take a look at this, please. In the 2021 cycle, we also dropped below here once, then fought our way back up and kept testing the 20 EMA again and again, just like we're doing right now. And that's exactly when this parabolic phase started. Just look at how it happened. And if that were to happen again now, because I mean we've tested it again, that would of course be really awesome. I'm not trying to tell you that the parabolic phase is coming right now. But what I am telling you is that this parabolic phase could start at any time. And if you're not positioned in the market at that point, some people are really going to regret it, because such a parabolic phase can actually be triggered within just 2 or 3 weeks. It can happen very, very quickly, and then we'll be in a completely different situation. But basically, you know that September is usually a weaker month, or rather, the summer months in general tend to be a bit weaker. Just take a look at this. Normally, with Bitcoin, we follow the M2 money supply. But look at this now. Here, the M2 money supply has actually continued to rise along this line, while Bitcoin has been moving sideways. And now we've started to decouple a bit from the M2 money supply, which is definitely an interesting development. Because what also needs to be said is that the M2 money supply is currently stagnating a bit. And that could also indicate that, especially in September, we're seeing a bit of a correction, a bit of stagnation, and that will only start to gain real momentum again afterwards. But if we're already decoupling now, that kind of suggests that we'll probably build up again here and then catch up with the M2 money supply. Because, I mean, the correlation with the M2 money supply is usually around 80%. So we can't correlate 100%, but the correlation is around 80%, and you can clearly see that here as well. Look at how we've followed it. Right now we're decoupling, but I think that's just part of it. In the end, it's just a bear trap anyway. To get people scared and panicked again, and that's exactly when it turns around. This is also the first zone where I could expect a bounce, where we might see a bit of a recovery here. If that doesn't hold, then down here again, somewhere between $102,000 and $98,000. Somewhere around there, we'll definitely find support as well, in case this $108,000 doesn't hold. In the end, as I said, it's just a bear trap because our overarching goal still remains. And our overarching goal is $150,000 to $200,000 in this cycle. We will probably even be able to reach this goal without any euphoric phase and without retail investors if things continue like this. And that's it for Bitcoin for now. But I also want to introduce you to this indicator. This is our own indicator. Here you can see buy and sell signals and you can see how accurate they are. These buy and sell signals are absolutely great, and of course you can also trade based on them. You can find this indicator in our trading VIP group, which is 100% free. Everything you need to do for that is explained in the description. So if you want to get access to this indicator, join the group, because you can only get access if you are in the group. In the group, it's also explained how you can use this indicator, how you can trade with it, and so on. So join the group, there's incredible added value and all of it is free. No matter which direction we look, when it comes to institutional investors who are really managing multi-million-dollar funds, these people are so optimistic about Bitcoin and the crypto market. Here again, according to the VanEck CEO, 400,000 per Bitcoin. He sees no way that this won't happen. In comparison, Bitcoin outperforms the S&P 500 every time, and that will remain the case in the coming years. All of Wall Street is extremely optimistic about the crypto market. Another quote from Eric Trump. As he says, there is not a single doubt that Bitcoin will reach $1 million. As I said, we can see that this large capital is extremely interested in the crypto market, and this chart is also very exciting. We are seeing significant inflows into Ethereum ETFs. Open interest in Ethereum is also rising rapidly again, but on the other hand, we are also seeing large short positions now being taken on Ethereum. And why is all of this happening? That's quite easy to understand because the big investors are buying spot Ethereum here, but at the same time, they're also shorting Ethereum to balance out gains and losses. That's an old Wall Street trick. They like to do that. At the end of the day, say what you will, but this is a positive sign because it makes us significantly more liquid and we have real demand here. I mean, in terms of spot trading, Ethereum is being bought up piece by piece here, and Ethereum is becoming increasingly scarce on the exchanges. The Ethereum ETFs have now reached inflows of $13.7 billion, and they're getting bigger and bigger. So especially with Ethereum, you can really see that this thing is being pushed up again. And in the end, I've been talking to you about this for months now. I keep saying, take a look at the inflows. Take a look at this institutional interest in Ethereum. It keeps growing and growing. And what's happening here? Exactly what I told you would happen, and he just confirmed it again. Because the CIO of Bitwise has now said the truly professional investors are skipping Bitcoin and are going into Ethereum instead. And that's exactly what's happening right now. At the moment, we're seeing that the Ethereum ETFs are experiencing inflows up to 10 times higher than the Bitcoin ETFs. That's crazy. Just in the last month alone, $4 billion. And that alone is about 1% of Ethereum's market cap. Of course, that's why the price is rising so rapidly. People are leaving Bitcoin aside and investing in Ethereum instead, because Ethereum simply has a huge advantage over Bitcoin here. Bitcoin has a cool narrative, and I say Bitcoin will always remain number one. But Ethereum is much more interesting for these institutional investors, because all the stablecoins are built on Ethereum. A lot of projects, these layer 2 projects, other smart contract platforms and so on, are all built on Ethereum, and as a result, Ethereum is really like a multi-company, which simply doesn't exist in the real world. That only exists in the crypto space. That's incredibly interesting for these investors because here they really see a proper company behind it. They see revenue, they really see things happening, they see Ethereum being locked up for smart contracts, for transactions and so on. And institutions absolutely love that. And that's why Ethereum is currently much more popular than Bitcoin, especially among these large investors. That's why I personally will also, if we see another correction in September, invest more heavily in Ethereum because I simply see a better risk-reward ratio there compared to Bitcoin. And that should be your takeaway as well. No matter whether we fall or rise in September, take advantage of this opportunity because the foundation has been laid. We see hedge fund managers, Wall Street and so on, all of them are piling into this market. What is going to happen this time is clearer than ever before. And that's why I don't want to miss out and will use the opportunity in September if we see another correction. As I said, I've shown you my zones that will become interesting in the short term. This area will be interesting in the short term and this one will be interesting in the medium term. We'll just have to see how and what holds there. Because if even this second zone doesn't hold, it could drop again toward $80,000. We've only been going up the whole time, so we really need a bit of a medium-term correction first. It's long overdue. Don't freak out about it. It's completely normal. That's how it's been in every bull run so far. Otherwise, join our VIP training group. There you'll get this buy and sell indicator, which lets you find out some things very precisely. Feel free to join. It's all free. And with that, I'd say, see you next time, friends. Ciao.